You've probably seen tutorials for covered buttons, and they all show the exact same basic method. But there are other techniques, ones that create richer texture, cleaner finishes, and details you almost never see taught. If you don't know them, you're stuck making buttons that look homemade instead of thoughtfully designed. In this video, I'm sharing 3 covered button methods, including 2 unusual ones most sewing classes and kits never mention. So you can add distinctive designer-level details to your garments with techniques that feel like insider secrets. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Sarai, and I've been sewing for almost 30 years and teaching you how to create a meaningful custom wardrobe for the last 15. Let me show you how to make these buttons. Let's start with the most straightforward method, using a covered button kit. Covered button kits are perfect when you want reliability and speed, great for garments where you need multiple matching buttons, and they work with almost any fabric weight. You can find these kits in different sizes at most fabric stores or online, and I'll show you exactly how to use them in just a moment. But first, let me tell you why covered buttons are so special. They let you use up those beautiful fabric scraps you can't bear to throw away, and they create this seamless, intentional look that ties your whole garment together. It's like the garment was always meant to have exactly those buttons. And if you're looking for a project you can try them on, how about our free Marlowe blouse pattern? Marlowe is a short sleeve button up with a relaxed fit, and it's meant to be sewn in fabrics like shirting, chambray, lawn, or flannel. All fabrics that work well for covered buttons. This pattern is a free download for this spring only, so click the link in the description to grab your copy before it's gone. Now, I've always loved making covered buttons, so I was stoked when I found this incredible book at a thrift store a while back, all about making heirloom buttons. Page after page of gorgeous buttons made with crochet, needle lace, fabric, and ribbon. Some of these techniques are really advanced and require other skills like knowing how to crochet, but the ones I'm sharing today, they're completely doable with just a few tools and a little time. Before we get to the more unusual buttons, let's start with the basic covered button kit. Let me walk you through the pieces of the kit and why each one matters. You've got the front mold. This is what gives your button its shape. The back piece creates the shank and snaps onto the front. And this little tool, it's your best friend for pushing the fabric edges down evenly. What I love about these kits is how foolproof they are. Mine came with these little templates that help you get the perfect fabric circle every time. No guesswork involved. Here's how it works. Use the template to cut your fabric. It's sized perfectly with just enough extra for wrapping around the mold. Sew a running stitch 1/8 inch from the edge. This makes gathering so much easier. Place your fabric face down into the attachment tool and center your button mold on top. Here's the secret. Don't gather everything at once. Work gradually around the edges instead, pulling the fabric taut and using an awl to push the edges into the mold. Once everything's tucked in nicely, snap on the back piece. You'll hear a definitive click when it's right. Perfect cover buttons with 0 puckers every single time. The beauty of this method is its reliability. Every button comes out perfectly shaped and they're incredibly durable. I've been using these on garments for years and they hold up beautifully wash after wash. There are a couple things to keep in mind when it comes to choosing fabrics for this method. If you're using a looser weave fabric like flannel, sometimes the metal of the button mold can show through the fabric once it's on there, which doesn't look great. Try wrapping some around the mold to see if it glints through. If it does, never fear. Just apply some lightweight fusible interfacing to the back to give it a little more opacity. Using very thick fabrics can also be a problem. They can be hard to gather and fit into the mold. When I made my gray and white vintage jacket, I spent a long time trying to shove that wool into the button mold so I could get the back on. One thing you can do to flatten out your fabric as much as possible is stretch it along the bias and apply heat and steam from your iron. Stretch in both directions to open up the weave and flatten the fabric as much as you can. You can also use a clapper to press it even flatter. This should help make thick fabrics a little easier to work with. Now let's elevate things with plaited ribbon buttons. This technique builds on the covered button method, but with a few changes that create something really special. The plaited ribbon technique is your go-to when you want to add texture and visual interest. Ribbon can be plaited, woven, or braided to make these gorgeously textured buttons that are perfect for coats, jackets, or anywhere you want the buttons to be a design feature. Here's the secret that makes this technique work: sheer interfacing. Lightweight but stable, it gives your design the perfect foundation. Cut a square of interfacing using your template as a guide. This is your foundation that keeps everything in place. Next, cut 4 pieces of ribbon that are slightly longer than the interfacing. These will be your button fabric. Lay your first ribbon across the interfacing and start weaving. Work your way across, alternating the weave. Don't worry about perfection. Irregularities add handmade charm. Fuse the interfacing to ribbons with your iron. This locks everything in place so the ribbons won't shift. Here's the step most people skip. Sew a small X right at the center where the ribbons meet. This prevents the ribbons from pulling apart over time. From here, it's just like making any covered button, except now you have this amazing hand-woven fabric to work with. When gathering your fabric around the mold, double check that your design stays centered. The ribbons should cross right at the middle of your button. You'll also want to check that your your shank is aligned correctly before snapping on the back. I found that my button mold had a hard time accommodating the thickness of the two ribbon layers. If you run into this issue, try snipping away some of the ribbon closest to the mold in areas where the thickness is doubled up. I was able to get my back piece to attach once I did this, and there was still enough ribbon left to keep the button secure. Now you've got a basket weave covered button that's truly one of a kind. This button will look absolutely stunning on any coat. Imagine a whole row of them catching the light. And don't forget, if you want to try these techniques on a beautiful spring blouse, the Marlowe pattern is totally free right now. These ribbon buttons would look incredible on a simple design like Marlowe, but so would a standard covered button. There's a link below to get it for free. Now let me share my absolute favorite technique, the Singleton button. It's a type of Dorset button, but instead of working a needle lace pattern, you cover a small ring with fabric and then stitch around the edge using blanket stitch or back stitch. It's a few more steps than the other covered buttons, but it creates this incredibly refined look that you just can't get any other way. They're ideal for skirts, dresses, or any garment where you want the buttons to really feel tailored. I actually use this technique for the buttons on my wool knit Orla skirt. I've seen this kind of button on vintage couture garments, but I never knew exactly how they were created. Then, when I saw these Singleton buttons in my button book, I knew I had to learn the technique and try it on this skirt. It's a small detail that completely elevates the look of the skirt. For this button, I used a 3/4 inch plastic ring, which you can find online or in the jewelry making section of craft stores. You can also find rings that are meant for making Roman shades and blinds. They're pretty easy to come by actually. And here's the magic ratio. Cut your fabric circle 2.5 times the size of your ring. So for a 3/4 inch ring, you'll cut a circle that's 1 3/4 inches across. Run a gathering stitch about 1/8 of an inch from the edge of your fabric circle. This is your drawstring. It's what pulls the fabric snugly over the ring. Place the ring right in the center of your fabric circle, then pull the thread to gather the fabric up and over the ring. Here's where it gets interesting. Tuck that raw edge to the inside of the button. This serves two purposes. It hides the raw edge and it adds padding that gives your button some height and dimension. If you want even more height, you can add fabric scraps or a little bit of stuffing at this point. Just a small amount. You don't want your button to look too puffy. Tie off your gathering thread, but don't cut it yet. We're going to use the same thread for the next step. With that same thread, stitch in a clock pattern across the hollow back into the fabric around the back edge of the button. 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock, 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock, and so on until you've crossed center back at least 5 times. This pulls the fabric tight over the ring, closes up the back, and neatens that center area. You want everything smooth and secure. Now flip to the front and sew back stitches just inside the ring. This is crucial. It secures the ring and keeps it from shifting or slipping inside the fabric covering. It's also what gives it that cool tailored look. Take your time with this step because these stitches will be visible. The result is a button that has this beautiful handcrafted quality. I think it gives garments a really special vintage quality. There's a softness and dimension that just elevates everything about your garment. At this point, you can sew on a thread shank so it's easy to attach your button. Here's how you do it. On the back of your button, sew 2 long parallel stitches. Next, weave your needle around these 2 stitches in a figure-8 pattern. Go all the way from one end to the other to create a secure bar of thread that you can use to attach the button to your garment. Now that you know how to create these stunning covered buttons, you'll need to know how to create plackets so you can add them to shirts and jackets. Watch this video next and I'll show you exactly how to make perfect button plackets on any garment.